Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Fargo police are looking into a series of break-ins at some Fargo businesses overnight. Curious Kids Childcare, Happy Harry's Liquor, Cactus Jack's Saloon, and Used a Bit Pawn on Main Avenue were targets of burglars. In several of the cases, windows were smashed out. Only Curious Kids Childcare reported some money being stolen. A surveillance camera caught a glimpse of a dark figure, but not enough for a description. It's not known if the same person or persons are responsible for all 4 of these burglaries. Police arrested a man who is suspected of breaking into numerous cars in a downtown Fargo parking ramp. Police arrested 49-year-old Anthony Harper for unlawful entry into a motor vehicle and possession of drug paraphernalia. Police responded to the Island Park parking ramp around 1:30 this morning on a report of multiple cars with windows broken out and a man inside one of the vehicles. Harper is being held in the Cass County Jail. The heat is back, and it'll be sticking around for the next several days. Let's find out what tonight's temps will be like. Hutch?
Well, tonight we're seasonable temperature-wise, a little bit warmer up to the north. And on the radar tonight, we do have just a couple of little blips showing up. One moving out of the Cooperstown area into northern parts of Barnes County, not far from the Big Lake and Laverne. So a couple of rumbles of thunder and a brief heavy shower. That'll be about it. 70s to near 80 in Lakes Country. We have upper 80s from Devil's Lake to Grand Forks. It'll be a nice summer-like evening. The wind will be fairly light and temperatures will dip into the 70s once we get through the 8 o'clock hour. We'll stay dry here in the FM area. Grand Forks a little warmer for the next couple of hours, then slipping into the 70s after 9. Overnight, some patchy fog is a possibility, but that won't be the only hitch in the giddy-up. Some seriously hot weather is heading our way, Andrea. I'll have details here in a few minutes on how high the mercury rises.
Okay, thanks, Hutch. A West Fargo man is frustrated with police after they told him they can't identify the 5 people that beat him up in downtown Fargo 2 weeks ago. It's a story you only saw here on Valley News Live, when 22-year-old Bailey Varberg had to have his jaw wired shut after he says he was assaulted. Varberg says police have now told him the surveillance video from the assault is too grainy and they can't make out any of the suspects' faces. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley sees what's being done to keep you safe downtown.
As I was turned calling for help, I was punched on the right side.
Last time I talked with Bailey Varberg, his jaw was wired shut. But here 2 weeks later, he says he's feeling pretty good.
Swelling's gone down quite a bit. It's good to finally open my mouth and be able to talk normal.
However, time has not healed his frustration with Fargo police.
I've really gotten nowhere with the police with anything. I've gotten answers that I could have came up with myself.
Police told both Varberg and I the city camera that caught the assault was in a bad place and the footage was too dark and grainy to get a suspect ID.
It's absurd to me that there's not more cameras, and the cameras that there aren't high quality. These are criminals, these are bad people, and they shouldn't be able to do what they are doing, but police in a way are kind of enabling them.
I reached out to both the city and Fargo police to find out what kind of cameras they use and how outdated they might be, but neither got back to me today. And without knowing what the footage looks like, I decided to talk to a local expert who says cameras may not even help in this situation.
You can see both sides of the street. It's wide. You can see the buildings up to the top floor, and you can see all the way down the street. That's great. But in order to see, for example, that assault that happened, they would have had to have a camera trained in on that front of the building itself to see who it was and try to identify them.
Fisher says lighting and clothing could also play a factor in not being able to identify someone at night from a far distance.
Not unless they could zoom in on it. And you can't really zoom in on a picture like they do on CSI or something like that. And obviously the city of Fargo is not going to be able to put a camera on each door of each business.
He also says adding more cameras, as well as having cameras with infrared lights, would help, but wouldn't totally take away the graininess. And Varberg says he just wishes police would have asked him to help look back at the footage.
I would have been able to pick things out more, pick things apart. I just wish I would have known what they're looking at to see what's giving them leads, what's not. I know there's more that could be done, and it seems like nobody cares enough to do that.
In Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
It's unclear when or if Fargo police will release the video from Varberg's incident. A 64-year-old man from Grand Forks is dead after being pulled from Devil's Lake. It happened around 4 yesterday afternoon. Ramsey County Sheriff Steve Nelson says the man was launching his boat when it came off his trailer and the wind started to push it away from the shore. The sheriff says the man jumped into the water and tried to swim to the boat, but it continued to float farther away. The man eventually got tired and started to swim back to shore before he went underwater. Another boat was able to find the man, pulled him from the water, and brought him to shore. He was taken to the Devil's Lake Hospital where he died. His name has not been released. A 50-year-old man was killed in a crash in Dilworth this morning. The Dilworth Police Department was called to a single vehicle crash around 1:30 a.m. at the corner of 9th Street Southwest and 4th Avenue Southwest in Dilworth. Police say the vehicle left the road and ended up in the ditch close to the BNSF property. Firefighters used the jaws of life to pull the man from the vehicle. His name has not been released. A city council member from Thief River Falls has pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct stemming from a chair-swinging brawl at a committee meeting last month. Gerald Brown, pictured on the left, said his behavior was alarming or offensive to others, calling the incident a bad situation that turned worse. When he got into a fight with former council member Josh Hagan, a judge instead fined Brown $100 and will erase the charge from his record as long as Brown stays out of trouble for the next 6 months. Brown said he would offer an apology to Hagan and has apologized to those who witnessed the fight. Hagan is charged with misdemeanor assault in the incident. He has not yet entered a plea. Later on Valley News Live at 6, as you go about school shopping for your children, why selecting the right backpack is so important. Up next, more people come forward to talk about the quality of care at a local long-term health care facility.